Okay, like let's I'm sorry. Some of these things are just so funny. Okay, so like I guess Matt Walsh covers like there's like some fat people on a plane or something who squished a girl on a flight. I'm sorry, that's hella funny. I feel bad for her. So she went on Twitter and she's basically complaining about being squished by two fat people, how their like fat rolls were like touching her on the plane. I mean, shit, that's true. Like I would have gotten off the plane. Like I wouldn't have taken that flight. I'm sorry. Like I'm not doing that. Like this is why you fly first class, bro. I hope that she was flying domestically, and like I really hope that the flight was short. This is literally why people pay for fucking first class tickets. Like nobody needs to have that problem. I'll tell you guys a story. When we were coming back from this was when it was like the Africa to Austin trip, but I think it was like the layover in Texas or some shit. I don't know. All I know is like me and my team, we had like corporate travel, and I was traveling with my colleague or whatever. And I know because I booked the tickets that like I was seat number 1 and she was seat number 2. So they had a line for like the first class passengers, and it like says on the side, and then the flight attendant also said it. They're like, please line up by your number. So like 1 and 2 go first. And I booked the tickets, so like I know that I'm 1 and I know that she's 2. So she's gone, right? And I knew she was gonna like show up because I was texting her like, oh, you know, we're about to board in like 2 minutes or whatever. And she's like, oh, I'm coming. Now there was this like there was this grandma, and she was like standing in the front. So I guess she had a first class ticket too, but it wasn't number 1 or number 2. So I like stood there and I looked at her and I was like, excuse me, ma'am, what number are you? And she was like 5. And I was like, kindly back the fuck up. That's what I told her. And I'm sorry, like, look, Granny, if you got the dough to have number 1, be number 1. Otherwise, take your old ass to the back. Like, honestly, no. Like, you know, if there's like a senior citizen space for the fucking senior citizens, they can go there. But this bitch is not ruining like my number 1 first class ticket. Fuck her and fuck anybody else too. They can be old, disabled, fat, or whatever. Pay for the first class ticket to Becky or whoever the fuck was complaining about the fat people. Yeah, like coach problems are real problems. You got stinkies, you got people with crying babies. Didn't Kelly Samps make another video where she was like, yeah, there was like some bitch with her kids and they're like crying on her lap or something? Like nobody wants to hear that shit. This, like, I don't want to sit next to it. I'm sorry. I realize that you love your children, but I don't want to sit next to those brats on a fucking plane. I don't want to hear it. Like, people have like jets and yachts and shit for a reason. Like everybody doesn't want to be around like you and your problems. Like somebody else's fat problem should not become yours. Like I don't have to share space with stinky fatties. Like it's no. Like that's a life choice. Like this is another issue I have too with some people. I'm sorry, some people in the black community they just get on my fucking nerves because they have real issues. It'll be like people with just like awful acne or just like awful fashion choices, clothes that don't fit, you know what I mean? They just have like weird hairstyles or something. Like if you're wearing your hair the natural way it grows out of your head, and like you wash your hair, you can tell that like you're taking care of it. I don't have an issue with that. Like I don't have a problem with people existing in a way where it looks like they are like maintaining themselves. I'm sorry, when you are morbidly obese, you're not maintaining yourself. You're fucking morbidly obese. This is another issue I have with the woman, the like Nuri woman or whatever, like that Latina woman. For her to call somebody else ugly, it was like, I don't even know if she has a mirror, but like, has she seen herself lately? Like, I'm telling you, it's always like the ugly ones who will, especially in the like Latino community, they will literally be like 700 pounds. They will have like the worst facial structure ever in life. Like they are so unattractive. And like, I don't know who told them. Then they'll just walk around thinking they're European, and even European people will be like, they aren't us. And everyone, I just take another sip. I just be like this. I'll be like, you know what? All these, I call them others, other people's problems. I'm not even joining into that conversation. Like, I refuse to participate in the conversation 100%. That is just not my problem. Like, everyone, they're all delusional on a different side. But you know what? I'm not even participating in the narrative. But if anybody was confused, Nuri is, like, extra ugly. So, like, I don't even know, like, for her to call a child, like, come on. Like, I'm mean, but I'm not going to, like, talk shit about children. Like, children don't even, you can't even tell what a child is going to, like, grow up to be yet. They're not, like, their bones aren't even fully formed. Their facial structure isn't even fully formed yet. They haven't even, like, had an opportunity to, like, grow up and be who they're going to be yet. Like, if you're judging children by attractiveness, you're what we call a pedophile, and you belong in prison. So, like, you know, calling children ugly is, like, a whole different level of despicable. Talk about adults all whatever way you want to. Like, because there are some people who are, like, racist, so they'll just say shit like, oh, black women are blah, 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 because they are, like, actually racist people who, like, literally just, they think that, like, the skin color is a major defining factor in attractiveness. Like, and that's some people's, like, worldview. So, like, even the list where science and math is, like, here are the attractive people, and even, I mean, I don't like Zendaya, but you can't say if she's, like, only white. She's, like, very, very biracial, and she looks pretty black, but whatever. Like, she's, like, definitely not, like, European and white. Like, you can tell she's from, like, somewhere else, okay? You can say she's, like, ambiguous or something, but she's, like, brownish, okay? And, like, most of the world is like that. It's just full of brown people. And it's all of it is just kind of, it's just so fucking weird. Like, yeah, but I feel for that girl who's being harassed by fat people. Because, like, that's awful. And just like the girl who went to Arby's, like, bitch, you could have got off that plane. Like, you didn't have to take that plane ride. When you realized that you were stuck in between two fatties, I would have just got off the plane. I would have just been like, this is not going to work. You got to move me somewhere else. There's always, like, an extra seat. Bitch, upgrade on the app. Do something. Solve your own take autonomy. Don't just sit there and complain on Twitter. Bitch, do something. Get the fuck off the plane. Just walk off. Be like, I can't do it. Abandon ship. Abandon ship. Abandon ship.